Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to the 24th episode of the Sneak Preview, a Filmgazm Productions podcast that follows the current film release calendar. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
I'm Austin Johnson.
We're joined today by a very special guest host. If you've heard our past episodes on Moxie and the United States versus Billie Holiday, then you'll recognize Brianna Moore. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Today, we're covering two of this weekend's releases, notably Lin-Manuel Miranda's long-awaited movie musical In the Heights, as well as Paramount Plus's Infinite. If you've come here for Peter Rabbit 2, you're going to be disappointed. I don't care. So.
I think, let's see, Peter Rabbit. When did that first one come out?
I don't know.
2019?
Let me see, because part of me thinks we were all working.
We were, because me and Leslie went to go see it. We just wanted a reason to sit in a theater and drink.
2018. So we would have all been working at Draft House at that time, us three.
It didn't do well.
I have no memory of working Peter Rabbit.
Yeah, I don't think we had.
Also worked like a gnome, some kind of gnome.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, there was a sequel, Sherlock Gnomes. I remember that.
Sherlock Gnomes.
I remember thinking this is the stupidest premise for a kids movie I've ever heard.
There was also Ferdinand.
I saw that.
I remember that. Yeah.
Really random 2018 animated movies. Yeah. And then there was Isle of Dogs, but I fondly remember that one. And what else was that? I don't know. I was seeing movies all the time.
A lot.
I remember for Isle of Dogs, we had a trash milkshake or something like that. It was it had popcorn on it.
Yeah.
That's right. God
it
damn.
Actually, as odd as it sounded, it didn't taste that bad.
It was good?
Leslie had it, and I was like, I'm going to try it. I'm not going to pay for it, but definitely going to try it. And it was surprisingly not that bad.
It's kind of what I thought about all the specials. I don't want to pay money for this, but I'll try it if somebody offers it.
Yeah, exactly.
The hardest I ever worked at that place that wasn't a Marvel or a Star Wars movie was 2016's The Secret Life of Pets. That thing obliterated me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I wasn't working it, but I did see it at that Draft House.
I saw it at a different theater.
It was busy.
Yeah. Oh,
that
man.
Thing was fully sold out kids shows all day for 3.5 months.
Yeah. Okay. So that year was Incredibles 2, and I remember 2018, and I remember being like, "This is not cool." it actually makes me like the second movie less because of that experience. Oh,
I remember I saw Incredibles 2 with my cousin Miles because he was a big fan of the first one. We started watching the movie and we're like, "Oh, the Underminer," and that was done in 5 minutes. And we were like, "Well, there's 16 years of buildup just gone." And then he ordered the Triceratops because we had Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom going at the same time. And he was like, "These are gross." And I'm like, "We're going to have a bad time tonight, aren't we?"
Yeah. Gross snack, gross movie. Yeah. Yeah.
Good times. So we don't have Peter Rabbit 2. I don't really think I'll ever watch that. I know I made a pledge to watch pretty much everything I get my hands on in 2021. Gonna skip some kids movies. I'm not 5 years old.
but Pixar.
Yeah. I mean, I have exceptions, but if it's from DreamWorks or Illumination, I could care less.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. Obviously Brianna and I are in a different place, with Willow, with having a kid. It's anything but she seems to kind of just gravitate towards the same movies that came out before she was born.
She likes a lot of
Lilo and Stitch.
If it has good music and a lot of color, she's in it.
Yeah, and she's really into Trolls, the first one, which came out in 2016. That's
her movie.
Yeah, and that came out, before she was born. So it's just interesting that what kids get attached to. Sometimes it's not even new releases.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about. When I was her age, I was obsessed with Robert Zemeckis. I'm not gonna lie. At her age, all I watched was Back to the Future 1, 2, 3, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and Death Becomes Her. That was it. Not much has changed.
From age 3 to 26. I love it.
Before we get into it, let's take a look at what happened last week in film. Last week in film. No new trailers this week, which is odd. Usually we have one or two. Nothing, just news. First up, horror filmmaker and rock star Rob Zombie has announced he is helming a film adaptation of The Munsters. The cult family comedy series ran for 2 seasons between 1964 and 1966, and Zombie has been a lifelong fan who's really been working hard to get this off the ground. And wow. I bet, the studio took one look at his catalog and was like, I don't know about this. So the fact that he's managed to pull this off, I think it's going to be a lot more lighthearted than what we've gotten from Rob Zombie in the past.
Yeah, gotta be. Yeah. Is this something that excites you? Like,
I don't know. My grandpa's a huge fan of the Munsters. I saw random episodes growing up. I'm familiar with it. Rob Zombie, I love his music. His films are an acquired taste, to say the least.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the middle on this. I'll see it. I'd like a trailer, some screenshots, something to kind of gauge where he's going with this.
Yeah, but yeah, the expectations. Yeah, it's just, I'm with you, kind of neutral. We'll gonna have to just kind of prove me at this point. Prove to me what you got with his kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I know Caleb is super excited. He texted me like, "Holy shit, did you see this?" He'll randomly do that with certain movie news. Like sometimes not even full sentences. Like I got this text. I'm sure he doesn't mind this. I got this text the other day. It was Kevin Bacon, villain, Toxic Avenger remake. With exclamation points all over the place.
Yeah. You gotta love that passion. Yeah, you're just left to. I guess I'm gonna look up Kevin Bacon on the internet and see what's going on.
I'll take a look.
Yeah,
and yeah, okay. I mean, I thought it was gonna be Elijah Wood. That news disappeared within a day. More on that this Wednesday's Filmgazm. Check that out. Brian Fuller, who's known mostly as the creator of the TV series Hannibal, is going to be writing and directing a remake of Christine for Blumhouse. Fuller pledges to be faithful to King's novel, and I am very excited for this.
I'm sure you are, yeah. Blumhouse and Stephen King, that's not a thing that's meshed, right, before?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure, I don't think they were behind Pet Sematary. I'm pretty sure they weren't, but I can't confirm that.
That's another 2018 movie, isn't it?
That was 2019, I think.
It was 2019. Yeah. I don't think that Blumhouse has done that. And Blumhouse, it's something that's going to excite me, and I'm intrigued.
I remember.
Bonaventura?
Yeah, Blumhouse isn't involved.
With what?
With this, right? With Pet Sematary?
Pet Sematary. They're not. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're not involved. Pet Sematary.
Okay. I figured because it sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at, I to me, like Blumhouse, I go straight to Halloween or The Invisible Man, where they excelled in a remake or reboot. So, throwing them a Stephen King bone is just going to be exciting, especially Christine, which I like the Carpenter movie from '83, but it took some liberties, didn't quite delve too much into the backstory of the car, just kind of said like the car's evil, when in reality the car is haunted, and it didn't really cover that part. So I'm looking forward to kind of a more faithful adaptation. Yeah. That's just a great book. Christine's one of his best.
Yeah, that's so exciting for I know how big of a fan you are. That's super exciting. One of the stories you like the most being adapted by a good, like you said, good production company.
One thing I did like that Carpenter brought to the table with Christine that I really hope that Fuller does as well is the way Christine communicated using the radio. Like it would play songs, like when Arnie's trying to get in the car, he would play a song like "You Keep on Knocking, But You Can't Come In." Like that's really cool, and I hope they do that again.
That's badass. Surely that'll be a trope that's kept.
Hopefully. Speaking of sequels, a sequel to Bram Stoker's Dracula is in the works, and it's being adapted from a Joe Hill short story called Abraham's Boys. Natasha Kermani has been tapped to write and direct the film. So Joe Hill wrote a short story that was a sequel to Dracula, and now they're turning that into a movie.
Interesting. Yeah, that sounds super creative.
Yeah, I didn't know you could just write sequels to random stories and have them count.
I'm just gonna take it. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with it. I kind of love it.
I feel like I've been wasting my time here.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Think about all the movies. Like, oh, I have an idea for an extra hour and a half to that. Here's my Big Lebowski too.
I would 100% do Walter in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would have him be immediately discharged at the beginning. He never actually went. And the whole damn thing is in his head.
What would you do for a sequel? Like what movie? Like a movie that's standalone that doesn't have anything.
Oh,
that would be cool to see again in some way.
Oh, don't ask me that. I feel like the movies that I enjoy have had sequels that were either successful or garbage. Like, I like all like the movies that follow Halloween that fit the storyline, but also I'm a huge fan of Mean Girls, and Mean Girls 2 was garbage.
That's fair. That's totally fair. There are a lot of trash sequels.
Yeah. I would do a Mean Girls where like Katie is now like the math teacher.
I could see that.
Or like Tina Fey in high school.
Yeah, prequelize it.
And Tim Meadows, they go to the same high school or something in Southside Chicago.
Yeah.
I did not leave the South Side for this. It's my favorite line from that movie. God. Classic. Yeah, see, I would love to. Yeah, there's a lot of like the Dumb and Dumber stuff that follows is so bad. Wouldn't it be nice to kind of patch that up?
Yeah. Dumb and Dumber 2 is such a waste of talent. I mean, the way they completely erased the reason we love those characters. Like they made them assholes.
Yeah, and they're both like still good actors, those two guys. Well, yeah, waste of a movie, that Dumb and Dumber 2. And then Dumb and Dumber with the other actors. Whoa.
Well,
that was real bad.
We got a podcast coming in the fall that will be a perfect place to talk about those two piles of shit.
Yeah.
I think that the rule is that if it's public domain, anybody can use it, and Dracula is public domain, so that's why this flies. Which is cool because I've always had kind of a King Arthur idea I'd like to do, and I think that's public domain. If Disney hasn't somehow bought it.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Bill Skarsgård has joined the cast of John Wick 4, which is set for release May 27th, 2022. Also, Lawrence Fishburne has confirmed his return as the Bowery King. I mean, we all knew it was coming, but it's nice to get confirmation.
This is it. We don't need any more news about it. It's the fourth installment of an amazing franchise. So I'm already in anyway without knowing about these people in the cast.
Cool bit of news I found out today, and I'm going to not use names in case this ends up being bullshit, but I don't think it's bullshit. He's got evidence. My cousin's girlfriend, her uncle is the bad guy in John Wick 3, the Japanese guy, the Iron Chef America guy.
Okay. How about that? That is nuts.
Small world. Yeah, he said like she showed him pictures and like video of him at like a barbecue or some shit, and it's like, holy shit, it's the guy.
That's nuts.
Small world. Bill Skarsgård, do you think he's going to play a bad guy? Another assassin foil?
I don't know. I think maybe this will be a little bit of trickery, and he'll be a different kind of character than what we're expecting. But he also, in my opinion, can kind of do anything right now. I think he's like at the right age to kind of stretch himself, as an actor and really see what he can do. I'm wicked excited. I can't wait for that movie.
Yeah. I can't stop thinking about how it was supposed to come out like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yep.
We'll get it. This was very weird, and I'm interested to hear what you all have to say about this. Peter and Bobby Farrelly have begun working on a sequel to their 1996 cult comedy Kingpin.
Oh, we were just talking about Dumb and Dumber. Oh no. And then Kingpin. I didn't know that. Oh man. So those are the guy. They directed Green Book, Dumb and Dumber, Kingpin. What else?
There's something about Mary. That was them.
Ben Stiller. Yeah. Oh boy, I love King. I love Kingpin. One of my favorite random Bill Murray performances. Definitely one of my favorite Woody Harrelson performances. That's disappointing. That movie should be left alone. I don't even have any cool ideas for a sequel for that. Just as like a big fan of it, just leave it alone.
Well, I feel like there's no way they can use like any of the principal actors. I mean, Bill Murray hates doing sequels. Woody Harrelson, I feel like, is too good for that now. And Randy Quaid has been on the run from like imaginary government operatives. So it's not happening. I don't think this makes it past the development stage.
Oh man. Yeah, that's I didn't know that.
Do you own it?
I don't know if I own Kingpin, honestly. I'm not sure. But
I don't know
yeah.
Kingpin either. It's a funny movie, but I've only watched it one time and I remember thinking like, this is funny, but I don't know if I'd go back.
Oh yeah, I've definitely gone back. Yeah, I've watched it a few times. It was on Netflix for a long time. And I watched it, just like with friends and stuff and just hanging out. It was a good background noise movie as well. If you're just hanging out, like playing like Cards Against Humanity or something, just having on in the background. Oh yeah, this part's great. Yeah. One of those like 90s comedies that just kind of just delivered for me. So yeah, that's
I always like the whole Amish fish out of water thing. It's cool to see Bill Murray play a bad guy. You don't see that very often.
Yeah,
it's got its charm.
Yeah, and Woody, love Woody to death.
Yeah,
I love the weird different phases of his career, like this and like Ed TV and White Men Can't Jump, and then you see him in like years after that in like True Detective, and it's just what? That's the same fucker. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's had a very odd career. I love it. Just random Oscar nominations, comedy, drama, horror. He kind of goes all over the place.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's not too good for anything. Like
yeah.
He's super locked in the Planet of the Apes. He's super there and present, and I really appreciate when guys can do that. And then also, like you said, be kind of like a heat check performance guy in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Now he's playing fucking Carnage. Like this is
yeah, exactly. Which like fuck, we've all been waiting for a long time, right?
It is nice to finally get to see these movies that we were supposed to see like a year ago. We've been seeing previews for 2 years. Like In the Heights, for example, has been just kind of there for so long, and now we don't have to hear about it anymore. And that's not anything negative about the movie. It's just like I'm done. So I felt the same thing about Spiral. Just yeah, so it's good. It's positive.
Yeah, definitely. Here come the waves will not stop. Yeah.
This was interesting. Darren Lynn Bousman of the Saw franchise has been tapped to direct a horror movie about the infamous Lalaurie Mansion in New Orleans. It's being written by Chad and Carrie Hayes, who wrote The Conjuring. So they might be bringing the Lalaurie New Orleans myth into the Conjuring universe, like they did with La Llorona. So that could be interesting.
What do you think about that?
I need to know more about this, like about the subject of the movie, but I think that'd be really cool because I know there's a lot of like probably good storylines just within like the culture in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And so that'd be really cool to see incorporated in like the franchise.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
I know the story of the Lalaurie Mansion vaguely. The true story is that she was like a weird woman who kept to herself, who was like her high society pals didn't like her. So they made up a whole bunch of evil shit and got her like demonized. The fake story is horrific as shit. And I urge you to check that out. Like the myth is like evil as hell and would make a very compelling Conjuring-esque horror movie. So yeah, probably like a lot like The Skeleton Key. You remember that movie?
Yeah. Holy shit. I haven't heard that in a long time. Well, yeah, they have some making up to do for me from after Conjuring 3. So step it up.
Yeah, it's been a few years of disappointment in that franchise.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just the bar was set very high back in 2013.
Yes, it was. I'm still waiting on that Crooked Man movie, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen or how it would even happen.
Talk to me about that.
Fuck, man. No kidding.
Huh.
Well, here's hoping this works out. Darren Lynn Bousman has already proven his resilience with, the Saw franchise. I think he'd be an interesting name for this. James Wan has announced the title of his Aquaman sequel, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Perfectly generic for DC. I'd expect nothing less. It's currently set for release December 16th, 2022. Jason Momoa, Amber Heard, Patrick Wilson, Tamara Morrison, and Yahya Abdul-Mateen II are all returning. So most of the cast, pretty much everyone but Nicole Kidman is coming back.
Yeah, she said, I'm out.
Yeah, she got her check and just walked all the way over to Lucille Ball. I like that they kind of do, paycheck and then like a biopic.
Yeah. Yes. Let me go for my Oscar now. Yeah.
It's been a while since I was there. Let's go back.
Yeah. Boy Erased didn't work out too well for me. So yeah, I think I need to take another lap. That's definitely what she's doing. Speaking of DC, just, fucking around as usual. How about Loki? That was pretty dope, huh?
Haven't watched it yet.
What?
I've had family in town. I haven't had the opportunity.
That was pretty cool, man. I liked that first episode. I didn't know Owen Wilson was going to be in it until just a few days before it came out. You're gonna love it, man.
I know. I really want to watch it.
Holy hell! Too much podcasting.
It's been the podcast and then just kind of taking my dad to random places.
Yeah, not enough time for just TV. Yeah, it's good though, man. Good though. They continue to raise their own bar over and over. It's pretty amazing. Like we're just like, this is crazy. This is an episode of television. There's going to be 7 more of these bad boys. Yeah. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, I've heard it's like a game changer. It's going to be a blast. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, though. I feel like they're waiting too long to capitalize on Aquaman's success, especially now with the whole Amber Heard shit. I think that's going to cause a big backlash with this.
You like the first one?
The first one was all right. It didn't really get my attention fully, to be honest. And I don't think it's going to help them by casting Amber Heard. They already aren't really captivating the audience with their storylines enough as is.
Yeah.
So exactly. I feel like you would want them to be careful. Yeah. But I don't think they care.
It's crazy how, like, after all of this, they still don't get it.
Right.
What do they need to understand here? Like, already people kind of don't care about their movies, and you're going to just continue to keep her on despite massive fan backlash. I don't think this works out. I think Aquaman 2 is going to bomb.
Yeah. And what sucks is it is mostly like the legacy of DC's, its characters in this era of it. It's just at stake and they don't take it seriously. And that gets really frustrating because then you have people not like us who would care, who would be in the theater like, oh yeah, if they were taking care of it, but they don't. So the people who are going are just kind of lackluster, don't really care. It's just going, I'm just going to go check out a movie. It doesn't become an event the way it could be with how amazing these characters are, Yeah. And we've seen that. We've just, Marvel is the superior. They've just continued to, with stuff like Loki and WandaVision, and the shows they're doing are better than the DC movies. So there's just no comparison. The craft and the storytelling ability it's not even close right now. And so like you have to take risks, right? You would think like even Joker, which is not really a DC, that was risky and it fucking worked, doing Joaquin and making it as intense as it was. Do stuff like that with like Aquaman, maybe cast someone I'm not meaning risky in the Amber Heard way, but get someone who maybe hasn't done a superhero movie yet. Maybe get someone who's got a whole different gravitas. To like I don't know, man. I just think there's so many decisions they could be making that are again lackluster, and it's frustrating as hell.
Well, they didn't learn their lesson with Joker because they just announced a sequel to that. So they still don't understand what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
I remember hearing something about like they were considering replacing Amber Heard with Emilia Clarke, and then Marvel scooped her up.
Yeah. Of course, that'd be interesting to see Momoa and Emilia Clarke kind of
That's what they were.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. Yeah.
I think that it's a shame that DC has failed so many times, but also never used that failure as a way to kind of revamp and take a new direction with things. They just accept the failure and don't like pick apart why it failed. They're just like, all right, that's, scrap that and focus on this now. Marvel has never done that. It's build, everything builds towards something.
Correct.
With DC, it's just every movie's kind of there, but it feels like pieces of a different puzzle.
Yeah. And so 100 years from now, who gives a shit? Like your legacy is nothing, but the Marvel movies are going to be, it's still some from Iron Man 1 to right now. It's still something that like you kind of have to care about every piece.
Yeah.
Because it's all a part of the same puzzle. Like you're saying, complete opposite to DC. It's crazy.
Yeah. At this point, it's VHS and Betamax. It's PlayStation and Sega Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Like it's the one that's going to last and the one that's going to just be stuck in the dirt, impossible to grow.
Yeah.
And also Aquaman 1 used like his two best enemies already. Ocean Master and Black Manta are like, they used them already. What now? Where do they go from there?
Yeah, and that movie was just okay. So yeah, pretty scary to think about what's going to happen next.
Unless I see Aquaman literally like cut off his own hand like he did in the cartoon, no, I'm not in. Like I want to see the claw. It's a big deal for me.
Maybe James Wan. I don't know. Who knows, man? Yeah. That's the thing. Is your expectations? You don't even know where they're supposed to be with these movies anymore.
I know. It's every time I see a Marvel movie, I'm like, this is going to be great. Every time I see a DC movie, I've got my fingers crossed. Like, please don't suck.
Yeah.
I don't want my day ruined. Just come on, try.
Yeah. That's sad. Yeah, well, like you said, you know you're going to get something worth your time.
Yeah,
and that's all we ask for, right? When you have just millions and billions of dollars to spend.
Well, here's something that came out of nowhere that really excited me. An animated Lord of the Rings movie was announced from Japanese director Kenji Kamiyama. It's going to take place in Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings canon with plans for a big screen release as soon as possible. It's called The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, and it will tell the epic story behind the Fortress of Rohan, known as Helm's Deep. So it's going to be an anime-style Lord of the Rings movie that takes place in the Peter Jackson canon, and it's going to tell Helm's Deep story.
Jeez, that is really cool. Talk about some. See, that's the kind of stuff I'm cool with. Yeah, building on. I'm always curious about different areas of the Lord of the Rings, map. So that's fantastic.
I'm on board as long as they get Howard Shore to score the movie.
Ooh, man, that's so exciting. I'm more excited for that than the show.
That show is never going to happen. That show was supposed to happen like 5 years ago. They keep talking about fans are like, no nudity, but Amazon's like, but we can. And the fans are like, but you shouldn't. And now we're back to square one. Like the littlest complaint scraps everything every time. It's crazy.
Yeah. Because Lord of the Rings fan, like Tolkien fans, and they don't want it to copy Game of Thrones, right? And just be like, oh, we're gonna be the medieval thing that has nudity. They want no, that's not what the movies have. That's not what the books have. So let's leave it be. It just halts everything for another 5 years.
This is why, the Tolkien estate has held on to the Silmarillion and all the other short stories and stuff, because they don't want those stories to go through the same shit that the Hobbit franchise and now this show is going through. I don't blame them. I'm surprised they let this one get greenlit. Maybe because it's an original idea. I don't know.
Yeah. Crazy, man. Animated Lord of the Rings. I'm in.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting. And finally, I hate to end these things on a sad note, but I kind of do every time. This happened earlier today. Veteran Oscar-nominated character actor Ned Beatty has died in his sleep at 83 years old. Beatty received his only Oscar nomination for his performance in 1976's Network, but is also known for his performances in such films as Superman, Deliverance, Silver Streak, All the President's Men, and Toy Story 3, just to name a few. He will be missed. He was always one of those super reliable character actors who always turned in a great performance. His brief scene in Network is memorable and deserved the nomination. And, of course, Lotso, fantastic vocal performance that, has really resonated as one of Pixar's best villains.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I think Lotso, and he's the voice of the mayor in Rango. Those would be the two first times I was like, who's that? Who's this guy? I was 15 when Toy Story 3 came out, and those are the little things that you need to kind of. I've always talked about this when these people pass away. There's something that you can kind of recall that made you aware of who they are. And for me, and probably all three of us, is probably Toy Story 3, and that's really special. And then oh man, the stuff he's doing in Network is really special. That's an awesome 70s movie. And he's like you said, gonna be missed. Kind of a guy who did everything. Yeah,
it wasn't Toy Story 3 for me, regrettably. As a kid, I watched Bravo's 100 Scariest Movie Moments.
Here we go.
I should not have been watching that as a child, and I watched that every Halloween for like 8 years.
I know. I've heard you talk about this. Oh yeah, I love this. Has happened before.
Yeah, a lot of some of the greatest horror movies in history. I knew the twist because of this damn countdown, and it was scary. That countdown's terrifying. But Deliverance is one of the films in that countdown. So my first experience with Ned Beatty was watching him get down on all fours by a redneck who's about to rape him. So not the best intro to Mr. Beatty, but thankfully, down the road, I was able to experience his performances properly. So
yeah, that's a wild movie. Jesus Christ, Charlie Wilson's War. I like him a lot in that.
That's right. I forgot about that one.
But yeah, that's one that's definitely been brought up on another podcast with you and I. And yeah, he's everywhere, every decade. He has 166 acting credits.
Jeez.
Wild.
He was called one of the busiest actors in Hollywood. The dude was always working since like the 60s.
Yeah. All the way to 2013 when he retired. Crazy.
Yeah. And he died in his sleep peacefully. 83 years old, lived a full life, full career. Good for him.
Hell yeah.
So that is what happened last week in film. Before we get into In the Heights, I would like to say a little bit about the other film that came out this week, Infinite. The film that was supposed to be the big one for Paramount Plus. I would argue a lot of people don't have Paramount Plus because unless you're really into Star Trek, there's really not much else to go with on that one. But I have it because we signed on. We got CBS All Access a long time ago, forgot the password, and just never canceled it.
Well, there you go. Yeah, we definitely don't have it. No. She looked at me like, should we have watched that? I'm like, oh, no.
I took one for the team here. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Antoine Fuqua is cool and all, but got some major misses, and it sounds like this is one of them.
I can't believe this was from the same guy who did Training Day. Jesus Christ, this was bad.
Yeah. I've read some things. Yeah.
When I saw the trailer, I thought, oh, the Highlander people are going to be pissed. And then I watched it and I'm like, oh, so are the Matrix people. This movie like rips various tropes out of every sci-fi and fantasy book you can think of. I mean, it's got the chosen one. It's got the, ancient civilizations. It's got the warring factions throughout history. It's got reincarnation. It's got Mark Wahlberg. It's got everything you can think of. And he does not care. You can tell from the beginning, he does not care at all. It's, oh my God.
Yeah, man. Mark Wahlberg. I don't really know how I feel about him, like as his career, of course there's things that I think he is spectacular in the other guys. I think that like he gets outshined at moments by Will Ferrell, but man, he's really holding his own. And then of course, like Boogie Nights, I adore. But there is, and in the Departed, he's great in that. There's so much fluff though, especially from the past few years. Where, what are you doing? What is this? Like what? I didn't think he was already past that point where he's like, yeah, I just don't give a shit anymore. I'm just gonna get paid. Look at the synopsis here. Like, what the fuck? Like, a man discovers that his hallucinations are actually visions from past lives. I mean, and Connor basically just said that by all these other movies that it's copying. I feel like I can judge this movie without even seeing 2 seconds of it.
I got mixed feelings about Mark Wahlberg. I mean, he had that fantastic triple threat with Peter Berg, where he did Lone Survivor, Deepwater Horizon, and Patriots Day. Those were great. Like he brought it.
Yeah, I like a couple of the. I don't know. They haven't really. I don't know. They haven't really stuck with me, I guess. Deepwater Horizon has some really, really strong moments. And Lone Survivor is one of the more honest, I think, like realistic war movies that they try to really nail the landing on what the guys are using, weapons and gear.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. That's a fair shout. Yeah.
But somewhere around like 2018, I mean, he just stopped caring. I mean, he just kept doing, like the Mile 22, Spencer Confidential, Daddy's Home 2. I mean, god damn, like Academy Award nominated actor Mark Wahlberg, which I still every day I can't fucking believe that. And now he's got Infinite, the movie that basically showed Paramount Plus, like that Paramount Plus used to show all the other streaming services that it is in no way a threat. I mean, if this is the quality of films they're going to be focusing on, like, yeah, I don't think Netflix has anything to worry about. Fucking Crackle doesn't need to worry about Paramount Plus.
This cast really is something else,
isn't it? Yeah.
Jason Mantzoukas, Dylan O'Brien.
Really?
Dylan O'Brien is in it for 5 minutes, by the way.
Oh, okay, he's like the fourth build person. I hate when they do that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever watch that movie.
The only one who's really trying is Chiwetel Ejiofor. He's the bad guy, and he's this ancient immortal. He's the fucking what is it? The Krug from Highlander. He's Clancy Brown. And God. All right, so I'm gonna try to explain this. It is so nonsensical. Okay, so in this universe, there are beings known as infinites, and they are reincarnated every time they die. They come back with all the memories and skills of their previous lives, which trigger at puberty. Cool idea.
It can be,
it could be, in the right hands, Within the infinites are two warring factions: the believers, who are the good guys, who are like spread the wealth, and the nihilists, who believe in nothing, and they want to destroy everything, and they want to die. But the only way they can die is if they kill everything else, so they don't reincarnate into anything else.
Okay.
And I know, right? Ejiofor plays Bathurst, who's been like the head of the nihilists for like 2,000 years. He was a caveman, and then he was like Julius Caesar, and then he was like Hitler or some shit. I don't know. And he's like, I want to kill everything. So he creates this bomb called the Egg that, when triggered, wipes out all life on Earth. And the good guys are led by this dude named Treadway, who they worship as a fucking god. It's ridiculous. Like, no one else has any skills, because they're like, Treadway will handle it. It's crazy. And he steals the egg. That's Dylan O'Brien at the beginning. He dies somehow. And Mark Wahlberg is the next Treadway, but he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And yeah, the whole movie, he's like, what? No, I'm not immortal. Like, angrily, like he always does. And they capture him, and they're like,
fuck you.
All right, for you to be immortal, we got to kill you first. And he's like, no, well, okay. Like, he's so like, absolutely not. A second later, he's like, well, I got to do what I got to do for the planet. Like, it's such a quick 180.
Oh man. Fuck. Yeah. Go fuck your mother.
Yeah. Well, he has, like, they drown him, and then he wakes up and he's like, I remember everything. Let's save the world. But there's no difference in the character at all.
I'm fucking Jason Bourne. Yeah.
Yeah. It goes from dude from Boston to savior of the universe, but he changes nothing in his performance. Oh, good Lord. This was just so stupid.
What did you give it? What rating?
I gave it a 6, and honestly, that mostly comes from the action sequences are decent, and Chiwetel really does want to do something with this. He really is trying to hold this together. He's Atlas with the world on his shoulders here. Yeah, and he's a fantastic actor. I really like him, so I'm not surprised that he would bring it. I just wished somebody else had brought it too. That would have been nice.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy Jason Mantzoukas, he's basically just Pimento from Brooklyn Nine-Nine the whole time. He's that guy again. Starting to think he's a bit of a one-trick pony.
A little bit, yeah.
And I found out that this was based on a book that basically had to be bribed into Hollywood. The guy who wrote it was like, I'm going to give a bonus to any agent who can get my book to Hollywood. And eventually found its way to Hollywood. And here we are, which is kind of amazing.
Good job, Paramount Plus. Yeah.
So yeah, this was their flagship. This was their, we're here, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, beware. And no, you don't have to beware. This is, I mean, keep going with your Star Treks. You're doing great, but maybe backpedal it on the films. I think you don't, not a good start, not a strong start.
No, and it's so difficult to even compare even the quality and quantity of content that's coming out of, like, even Apple TV Plus, and these, and to Netflix. It's just crazy.
Apple TV Plus, when we first started this specific podcast, I expected them to be a lot more involved.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
One movie. We did one Cherry, and then they just stopped making movies.
Yeah. It's like, it's been very underwhelming, the stuff that they're kind of advertising and trying to put out. It's crazy. And it's like, you expect the same thing that's going to happen to Paramount Plus, just kind of fade away.
Yeah. I mean, you can rebrand as much as you want. You're still CBS All Access. And nobody had that.
Paramount Plus. Ooh, what's that? Yeah.
You can't just throw plus on a studio name. Disney can do it because they're fucking Disney, and they have a 100 years worth of content that people actually want to watch.
Yeah, the plus doesn't mean a goddamn thing with them. It's about Disney.
Yeah. Paramount Plus what? Like what's the plus? Is this the plus? Do I just get an infinite amount of shitty Mark Wahlberg movies for my like $14 a month or however much it costs?
Yeah, no
plus. I don't want it. Oh, I kind of love when I get a bad movie because I enjoy roasting a bad movie. It's a hobby. It's like it's a skill at this point.
It's a fucking lifestyle.
Yeah. Oh my God. So yeah, Infinite. I recommend not signing up for Paramount Plus specifically to watch this movie. That would be a bad move. And if you're like me and you don't remember your password and can't seem to figure out how to change it or get it back, and you're just kind of stuck with Paramount Plus, check out some Star Trek.
Yeah, there you go. Got some TV you can go for on there.
I think a lot of Nickelodeon stuff's on there too. So
Yeah.
Watch some SpongeBob.
Reboot on Paramount Plus?
Ooh, I don't know about.
Yeah, I think it is.
No, I don't know if I want to watch that though.
No, it's like a completely different animation. Like it's like claymation.
Oh no.
3D-ish kind of reboot for Rugrats. And I believe it is on Paramount Plus. They did like a sneak preview of it on like Nickelodeon at like nighttime, and it was like, this is different. This is not my childhood.
Well, I love that all the people who liked Rugrats are people our age who are like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rugrats is
completely
tight.
misjudged their audience.
Yeah. It's all about with Rugrats, it's all about that kind of like pastel light, those light kind of lighter colors, and the all that stuff is super nostalgic, and changing that is
they changed more than just like the animation style as well. Like some characters are different. Like they have different backgrounds now. Like the twins' mom is no longer married, and she's like a part of the LGBT community now. I
understand that. I always thought that character was gay as a kid.
Yeah.
But man, I just don't want to like Tommy's,
parents
charisma. Oh. Like I don't want that to ever change, because Tommy was one of my heroes. Tommy Pickles is just a really good leader,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, like as like a child, like toddler, baby.
Yeah. Of the baby crew. Yeah. I mean, think about how many times he made Chucky feel like just like validated, like in his feelings, like, dude, you're okay, Chucky, Chuckster, you're gonna be all right, bro. And
Tommy was
great
just
show.
A great friend.
Didn't think we'd talk about Rugrats this much.
You said Paramount Plus, and then you said Netflix. I was like, oh yeah, that happened. Yeah. Because I saw the preview. I was like, what the hell is this?
I kind of hate living in the age of the reboot where everything is just done again and again and again. I resent it.
It gets tiring after a while. Like, I'm really hoping that no one else releases a reboot of a cult classic of anything, because they almost never live up to like the hype that we had before.
No, and that isn't it scary? As you get older, you realize that's not the point for them. The point is to make money.
Yeah.
And you're like, as a kid, you're like, that it like crushes your dreams. Like, why wouldn't you want to make something better than the first one?
Yeah.
Like, well, because it's easier to just to make money and not worry about it.
Like, I often think, how many Batmen am I going to see in my lifetime? I mean, we're already like, 26 years old. Kilmer, Clooney, Bale, Affleck, Pattinson. I'm already up to 5 Batmen. And that's not even counting all the animated ones.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Not even that's a whole other bag of dudes that are just voicing him over and over.
And Keaton's coming back in The Flash, so I'm counting that. There's another Batman.
Yeah. Jeez.
My Lord. It's tiring, keeping all this shit straight. Now, let's talk about something that was original and entertaining and optimistic. In the Heights. It was based on the Broadway musical by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who would later achieve worldwide fame and success with his musical Hamilton. In the Heights debuted on the Broadway stage in March 2008 and was nominated for 13 Tony Awards and won 4, including Best Musical. So Hamilton Miranda already had a massive success on his hands before Hamilton, which was, just catapulted him to even more success. And that's just great. This dude is a musical genius. I mean, holy hell! Just adding, the addition, putting rap on the Broadway stage was the smartest thing New York has done in a very long time.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's completely rejuvenated the genre. He kind of single-handedly, I think, has made it a part of culture again. Where I think musicals they've always been a part of culture. They always will be, but now it can kind of boom again. And that's really cool. It's not like one of my favorite genres, but it's really cool to see it done in a whole new way.
Yeah.
Where representation matters, and like you said, using kind of hip hop and rap and to tell history and tell stories is pretty cool.
I agree. I remember the insane cultural impact Hamilton had. I mean, everybody was talking about it. I had never seen that from a Broadway show, like ever.
No.
And then I was paying attention and I was looking at Broadway like, oh, well, what do they got? And yeah, now I hope one day when I'm, 50 years old and can finally get some, I'd like to see Hamilton. I can finally get tickets. I want to see it.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to see it? You would want to see it?
A part of me is very curious, just as like the inner choir kid that I was when I watched a bunch of musicals. So I would like to see how he's impacted, because he's definitely made a change. You hear his name all the time now, especially with Hamilton. And it's on Disney Plus, so I have no excuse now at this point not to watch at least that version of it.
Yeah.
It'd be great to, if I do like it, to see it on Broadway.
That concert movie was good, but I do want to see it done the way In the Heights was done, where we get like a film version of Hamilton. I would, the history buff in me would fucking kill to see that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty special. I take, I'll be honest, I take major issue with like when something gets big culturally, it becomes, only these people are able to see it and these people are not. It's very, very, very frustrating, because then you have people seeing Hamilton and it's like a fucking totally white crowd. It's like, man, what's up with this? And I know a few people who have been, and they tell me how much they paid for it, and I'm like, what? Like, that cost a fucking arm and a leg, dude. Like that would like dent my life. So it's very hard to kind of like, for me to swallow stuff like that, and I'm a big sports fan, and I feel the same way when sporting events, you're not allowing just all people to get access to this. That's fucking crazy. And I also know, like, it's like supply and demand. The people are willing to pay it, so why not? But it's just, it's hard to wrap my head around.
You know who hated that so much? Billy Joel.
Yeah.
You know what he started doing? Billy Joel does not let people buy front row tickets to his show. What he does is, because he got tired of rich people, like, just kind of blankly staring up at him just there because they can afford $3,000 seats. So he has his road crew go to the bad seats and grab genuine fans and he puts them in the front row. So he can give an actual fan an experience. And that's pretty sweet. I like that little story. But I agree with you. Broadway is ridiculous in the way they price these things. It takes, 10, 15 years for a show to like fall out of the public eye for people like us to be able to actually see this thing.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, it's done now. Now there's a whole new hot thing. And that sucks. It's like, well, and isn't it funny how like in the Heights, there's a lot of characters who are constantly thinking like, I'm just stuck right here. I'm never going to be able to get past that wall, that barrier of like, I matter, And that's super fascinating to me to think about how that's what it's preaching, but it's also, man, like that whole life, the Broadway and the musicals and stuff is nothing I've ever really broken into or seeked a bunch of knowledge about, because it's something that I don't think I'm ever going to be able to take part in. I don't think I'll ever be able to like go do that on my own, ever.
Well, you can see like the classic shows and they tour. I mean, like they do like,
and you can go to Majestic downtown San Antonio for a decent price. And I've done that, but you know what I mean? If I want to see a show in New York City while it's actually in its peak stages, it ain't happening.
I've made peace with the fact I'm never going to get to see a first run Broadway show, because I'm never going to be in a position where I can afford a $3,000 ticket.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have been to Broadway. I saw Jersey Boys and I saw Chicago.
Beautiful.
And they were both very entertaining shows.
I'm sure.
I did get to see Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the musical, on the West End in London. They were testing it there for Broadway, so I got to see that.
That's cool.
that was exciting. That was a fun show. I hope it's doing well, or it did well on Broadway. I know that they are doing the same thing with a Back to the Future musical in London right now. And that is something I might have to give up a good chunk of my savings account to go see.
Yeah, that's something you got to experience.
Oh God. Yeah. It's I love live theater. I saw Jersey Boys at the Majestic as well. I've seen that show twice. Yeah, I do wish it was easily accessible. But, in the meantime, we got these film adaptations to give us a taste.
A glimpse into it, right? And, you and I have done some talking about musicals on Oscar Sunday, and it's just a huge part of the movie industry and the culture of it. So they totally intertwine, the stage and the screen. They're just always going to be kind of coexisting.
Yeah. And we've talked about how we kind of hated the, 20th century big budget musical for constantly just happening every year, being 2.5 hours long and just not amounting to anything. Dr. Dolittle, Hello Dolly, like just these movies that we had to watch.
Yep.
But, a good musical can do a lot for you. It can really kind of pep you up. It can make you think about things. It can, get stuck in your head. And I feel like In the Heights is way more of like towards that side of the spectrum. I was very locked in. Like I liked it. I liked the characters. I enjoyed it made me, kind of reflect on my own cultural heritage. I'm Hispanic and, Peruvian, Dominican. And I felt nice. It felt good to kind of see a movie that celebrated that in a very happy way. And yeah, I like this a lot.
Isn't it crazy how there's not other movies you can really lean on, or not a lot of movies that you can lean on that do take pride in the culture? Isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah, it's all Cartel and West Side Story, and I don't want West Side Story. I don't want it.
No, neither do I. We're not big West Side Story fans over here, Connor and I.
I've seen it once. It's all right. I feel like some people would disagree with me heavily, but
a lot of people would crucify us. Yeah. How dare you? One of the 5 greatest musicals ever. Yeah.
10 Oscars, one of the most revered films in Hollywood history. And
Spielberg likes it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's terrible. I mean, it's like, I don't know how this turned into basically just a like hating West Side Story, but I'll take it. I can't buy a gang that snaps. I don't care what the situation is.
That's my like main issue with a lot of musicals is there are always moments in them where I'm like, I cannot help but laugh a little bit at just the scenario or the situation when I hear, like that is a perfect example. And I love In Flight of the Conchords, the HBO show. They have a whole thing where they make fun of it, where they go, "Stay cool, Brett. Stay cool." And it's so silly. Seymour Castle is actually in that episode. He's kind of making fun of it too, so it's really funny.
Cool.
God, yeah. It causes me to drift away when musicals do that. There's a couple times in the Heights where I felt like I was a little frustrated just because that's just not my thing, and
I could tell.
I've accepted that. Like there are moments when I love the big, like 96,000, that part in the water, fucking incredible and just gorgeous and so much at play. But then when there's like a dramatic moment in an apartment between 2 people, and she's like, "How do I repay your kindness?" Then I feel like I'm watching My Fair Lady, and my mind starts going to different places, and I'm like, it takes me away.
I liked My Fair Lady.
Yeah, it's okay, but I think it's like one of the posters of that era, that 60s, along with West Side Story, where that they're all just, I don't know, they're not movies that I want to consistently go back to.
Fair enough. There was the only scene in the Heights that kind of bugged me was the nightclub scene where Usnavi and Vanessa kind of don't dance because it seemed so forced. Like it was padding the runtime almost. Like, can't they just fall in love now? Why do we need it to happen at the end?
Yeah, that too.
I felt like that was kind of unnecessary. Like there was no need for there to be like a fight in that scene or like an
they're
argument.
15.
Yeah, like that's kind of like ridiculous in my opinion.
A fight on the first date because she's dancing with other guys, but he didn't dance with her. Like, I mean, you could have written that better.
Yeah.
Oh well.
He
wanted a shot, and she got mad that he wanted to get shots.
Yeah, well, at one point when she's trying to walk away, she's like singing like, or he says he sings like, "You were shaking it for everybody in the Heights." And I was like, that's the shit that I just like. I can't stay with you on.
That was so out of character for him. Like,
yeah, and it was like, okay, is he 28 years old or is he like 17 right here? What's the deal here? There are a few times like that, and padding the good God, it does not need to be 2.5 hours. This movie doesn't need to be that long.
I feel like it was kind of I feel like they should have focused on Usnavi's character only,
like the whole way.
They shouldn't have had like several different storylines. I did not mind the Abuela's storyline a little bit. I feel like like, you can tell she's such a big like role in his life that was needed, that was necessary, but everyone else's storylines and putting that much detail into them kind of took away a little bit from like the focus in some ways, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a tough screenplay, really tough.
I felt that Nina, her story and the like alluding to overt racism in California, I feel like either go there or don't just mention it like that.
Yes. That was like, dude, Brianna and I were in the middle of the movie when that happened. We were kind of like, that felt like, we got to have this dramatic scene where we're trying to say something.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, they don't really put their foot in the camp and really go there. In fact, she leaves and then her dad says, "Let's go." And like, that's the end of the scene. And that felt a little rushed there, maybe a little forced.
For sure.
Well, do you want to begin talking about some of the like John M. Chu? I mean, this guy, Crazy Rich Asians is very entertaining, and so to me, I felt like we were waiting too long almost for, obviously because of the pandemic. It felt like John Chu has just a huge gap in between these movies.
Yeah. John M. Chu, Crazy Rich Asians was his big one. Mm-hmm. Prior to this, he has had just a run of bad movies. Step Up to the Streets, Step Up 3D, G.I. Joe Retaliation, Gem and the Holograms, and Now You See Me Too.
Man, Bieber's concert movie as well.
That might be better than the
scattered.
Man, what a strange career. Well, it's clearly found a niche here. Clearly,
ethnic rom-coms. That's his lane.
What's next? Yeah. Oh man.
Oh boy.
You like Crazy Rich Asians?
I've never seen it.
Really? Oh, that's kind of surprising. I think you'd like it quite a bit. It's real entertaining. I've seen
almost the entire movie out of order because we worked at Draft House.
Yeah.
But I've never actually sat down and checked it out.
I think Brianna, you could probably attest to this better because I know you were reading a little bit about it. But I think some of the like sort of backlash that Chu got for Crazy Rich Asians is similar to In the Heights. Of In the Heights, right?
Yeah. Basically, I was trying to get a little background because I saw some things that I was like, I wonder if this is rubbing people the wrong way. And I noticed that there's a lot of like white passing Latinos in the movie and not a lot of like Afro-Latino representation. And the only Black person that is on like the main cast is not even like Latino.
Yeah, it's Corey Hawkins. Yeah.
And so I was looking around to see like and apparently there's also been controversy about Crazy Rich Asians and a lack of like color in that movie as well.
Like using a specific almost tone person for like casting. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do appreciate like watching the movie, like the scene where when they're about to leave to go to the Bronx and she's trying to get everybody all like lived up and like actually give them like a proper like goodbye. I liked the representation of different cultures.
Yeah.
But there was also a lack of representation when it came to like colors and skin tones, because you can be Afro-Latina, you can be like a dark-skinned Cuban, or you know, and there was a little bit missing for me, but I still think he did pretty good with like the choreo. I think that's my favorite out of the entire movie. To just, I mean, the lottery scene was pretty good. That was my favorite out of all of the dance scenes, I think, because that was a lot to work with.
Oh yeah,
I agree. As far as the backlash goes, I'm not surprised. I'm upset. I don't think that's, it does suck that, again, diversity is not properly represented. It seems like every movie doesn't, or like claims it does and then doesn't. It's a weird kind of, half in, half out thing that's happening in Hollywood right now.
Yeah.
And in a film that celebrates cultural diversity, you would think that would be the place. But
think it's intentional, or do you think he's just missing the mark a little bit? Like he's just not understanding what he needs to be doing, or he could be doing?
I don't know if it's necessarily in John Chu's control. I think this seems like shit that comes down from the studio. Like you need to have this amount, X amount of this certain race in this movie. They do that shit.
And it's unfortunately still catering to white people.
Yeah.
So if Anthony Ramos had just really dark skin, is a Cuban guy who had really dark skin, does he get this role? I don't know.
Well, it sounds like they probably were looking for a specific type of person because
he's just wicked talented.
Yeah,
good God, that guy. But I really do think his look is marketable, and that's just like so sad to say, but that's what Hollywood's done forever. Is like, let's just lend it to our white audience, and like make them feel comfortable.
I mean, the two actresses, one who played Nina and one who played Vanessa.
Yes.
Nina is actually Afro-Latina, and she said she does wish that there was more representation in the movie because she does have siblings and families who are darker than her.
Okay.
And said she really wished that they would have hit that part. And then Vanessa basically said there was a lot of Afro-Latina or Latino people auditioning, but they just didn't make the cut. They were looking for like a specific type of person, whatever that means.
That's fucked up. That's not how it should be. It should, in a perfect world, every role goes to the actor who best personifies that character, regardless of skin tone or like identity. But this is America, and
we're taking little baby steps. We're trying, but
still catering to specific groups, and it's just, that's annoying. I mean,
we are a centuries long alcoholic being asked to quit cold turkey in one day, and that is not going to be easy. No. It sucks, but we got to take what we can get when it comes to positive news.
Yeah, I still think that regardless of the lack of diversity in that sense, that it still was able to bring a bunch of different cultures together and show positive in that manner. I didn't think that me observing that and noticing that would actually have led to me discovering that kind of controversy, but that still doesn't like completely ruin the movie for me at all. No. Like it still had its bright moments, and that part alone, besides like the whole lottery scene, that part where like you see all the different cultures coming together and all the representation, like this is really nice. And there's probably some kid who's like, I don't ever see like people who look like me or who are a part of my culture proudly representing it on screen. And so that's still a positive step in a direction for like people who are underrepresented or represent. I can't speak, but you know what I mean. They're not presented well in film.
Correct. Yeah, and it used to be. I mean, the poster people for musical was Judy Garland and Gene Kelly. Like,
well,
it's cool to see Anthony Ramos in that conversation.
Just look at 5 years ago with La La Land.
Yeah, bang. There you go. Mamma Mia, La La Land. Yeah. Yeah, 2016. Yeah.
Jeez, that does not feel like 5 years ago.
Lost in Moonlight.
Goodness.
Side note, did you guys know there were 5 Step Up movies?
Yes, I went through an embarrassing phase in my younger days.
I kind of like the first one on like a weird, like, this is shitty entertainment level.
Yeah. I was, a part of me knew that it wasn't like a fantastic franchise, but for some reason, I watched them all.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I was. What was the last one? I don't even remember.
I mean, Step Up 1. You were pretty young. We were pretty young when that first came out. But yeah, I love Channing Tatum. So seeing
that's why.
Yeah, seeing where he kind of came from is funny.
Step Up All In was 2014. That was the last one.
Okay.
I was like out of high school, probably like a year.
And you're like, fuck it, I gotta finish this shit.
I kept going.
Oh, that's great.
I like I told you, I was in theater, so I watched a lot of dance and musicals in that part of my life.
How was the 3D in Step Up 3D? Was it like Jaws 3D or was it like Spy Kids 3D?
It was like Spy Kids 3D. It didn't need to be in 3D.
No.
And even then, as being a fan, I was like, this doesn't need to happen. Why are we doing this? But I still watched it. And I could have lived without 3D, to be honest. I felt kind of silly, like watching a dance movie and I got these stupid glasses on. I'm like, what's the point?
I always feel stupid with those glasses on.
Yeah. I genuinely do, but like I'm watching a dance movie. Like, what's gonna pop out at the screen? Like when they flick the water in the dance scene, that's cool, I guess.
I feel like a total jackass with those glasses on. Like,
you never took me to see my mom. My mom was sitting next to me in the theater with those stupid glasses. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry we came to this. What year? I wonder what year that one was. 3D.
Oh Lord.
Let's find out. Step Up 3D was 2010.
2010.
Sophomore.
Yes, yeah, definitely in high school. So yeah, you could have seen The Social Network or True Grit or The King's Speech or something.
15-year-old Brianna was just really into dance movies, unfortunately.
Oh man, Shutter Island, even I don't know.
There were better options, I'll admit, but back then I was like, this is it for me.
My favorite thing about 3D movies is watching them on DVD and like finding the moments where they were like catering to 3D when somebody would like throw something at the screen, and it's meaningless now. But just thinking like somebody somewhere thought that was a brilliant idea.
Yeah. This is going to be sick. Yeah.
like the end of Saw 3D, Saw 7, where Dr. Gordon's like game over and just hucks the saw right at the screen. Like, oh, come on.
Whoa. That's like one of the worst parts of movie culture ever is 3D.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I remember when it used to like really suck, like when I saw Spy Kids 3D and it had like the red and blue paper glasses.
Yeah.
Like, I can't see fucking anything. How is this? Oh my God.
Like
dopey as hell.
3D culture died quickly with movies.
Oh yeah. I mean, just roasted.
Like, wasn't the concert movie for Justin Bieber that John Anshu also directed, was that also in 3D?
I don't think Connor and I would know that.
I'm going to go ahead and take a hard Vegas bet on yes.
Probably. Yeah. That in itself, I feel like is worse than watching a dance movie in 3D because you're just watching some dude stand on stage.
It's like a hologram almost. Yeah.
Is he like at least like, I don't know, leaning into the screen or something?
Like a reach outs, like, like Backstreet Boys, like in sync kind of like dance moves where like he's clearly trying to engage the camera, but it's like, this is kind of stupid.
Good Lord. I don't remember the last 3D movie I saw. I
Step Up 3D for me.
It might have been a Marvel movie. I might have seen, I think I saw maybe Endgame in like IMAX 3D, maybe. But I don't know.
forgot they were offering that for tomorrow. I might have wanted to do that. Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't do the 3D.
I definitely saw Gravity in 3D. That was intense. That made me motion sick.
That was interesting. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I was like, I'm in space too. Oh my God. It's great.
Central.
Yeah, it's wild. Let's talk a bit about the cast here. Anthony Ramos plays Usnavi, a dreamer with a big heart. Ramos has also appeared in such films as A Star is Born, Honest Thief, and Godzilla King of the Monsters, as well as the Hamilton concert movie. So him and Miranda have worked together in the past. He's set to be the new star of the Transformers franchise when that reboot gets off the ground.
No. See, good for him, but no, I would rather him. He's 30 years old, dude. Come on, man. Don't be a part of a franchise. Like, do some really cool creative stuff. You're a fucking star, dude. He's in this movie. I'm with you. Like, I just wanted to watch him the whole time. I was completely sucked in by just his eyes. There's no one I've ever seen on screen that has what he has.
I agree. He's a talented kid. But I also get why, you're going to take a meeting with Michael Bay and he's going to be like, kid, I want you to be, you're going to be the next Shia LaBeouf. What do you think about that?
Oh, please no. Please no.
You're going to be the next Mark Wahlberg. What do you think of that?
Oh, man.
There's some really fucked up alcoholic shoes to fill right there. Good luck, kid.
Oh, no.
Eventually, one of these shows is going to find its way to one of the stars I constantly just shit on, and it's going to bite me hard in the ass. I know it. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be somebody. I don't remember him in. Do you remember him in A Star is Born?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I loved him.
Towards the beginning of the film, he's in it quite a bit. He's Lady Gaga's friend at work.
Okay.
All right. Hanging out at the bar together, and
I gotcha. Yeah. I've only seen that one time, and that was at the movies.
Oh damn!
Yeah. I like it. It's not the movie I'm gonna just put on.
No, I'm with you on that one.
See, me, I'm like, just put that shit on.
Put it on since we've seen it in theaters. I'm like, I need to be in a mood for this movie because it it slowly becomes dark, and I feel like you got to be in the right mindset to consume that.
Yes. All of those Star is Born movies, all four are just, waiting for the suicide. It's harsh. And I just, it's not the kind of thing where I'm like, I'm feeling like watching Bradley Cooper hang himself today.
Yeah. See, I'm waiting for that build up to the moment where he's in the truck with Sam Elliott and
again,
Bradley
so
Cooper.
Sad. I don't want to see that.
That's one of my favorite scenes, like in the past 10 years of movies. Like when he's like, I wasn't thinking about Dad, I was looking up to you, man. And then shuts the door and just turns around and puts the car in reverse and is like, I gotta get out of here. I love that movie. I think it's got a few of its own issues, but I love movies that like that though, that just punch me in the face.
Who the hell beat Sam Elliott at the Oscars that year?
2018. Mahershala Ali. No. Wait, 2018.
Yeah, I think it was for Green Book.
Is that right? Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused in my year. Yeah, that's right. Mahershala Ali.
No, that was Sam Elliott's Oscar. I didn't know he had it in him. Speaking of Sam Elliott, last night I watched half of The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot.
Oh, okay.
And it's a lot more serious than you would think.
Yeah. I would love to check that out. Sam Elliott, anything. I'll kind of watch him in anything. He's just one of the top 5 most fascinating voices I've ever heard.
Melissa Barrera plays Vanessa, an aspiring designer who wants to leave Washington Heights. Barrera has done a lot of telenovelas, and she's set to appear in the upcoming Scream sequel.
Oh.
So very interesting. And I don't know why every fucking studio does this. It's called Scream. Like,
I don't change it up even a little bit.
oh, I mean, turn like the C into a 5. I don't care if it looks weird. Give me something.
He's just in like a bunch of straight up Spanish TV shows.
Let me see. Maybe I might recognize him.
Telenovela.
Tanto amor,
Oh, no.
siempre tuya. A lot of shows.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those shows go on forever.
Yeah.
Nothing but soaps.
So then In the Heights right there. So this is big for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, then Scream. So good for her. Corey Hawkins plays Benny, who works at the local car dispatch. Hawkins has appeared in such films as Straight Outta Compton, Kong Skull Island, Black Klansman, Georgetown, and Iron Man 3. He also played Heath on The Walking Dead, the guy who just disappeared and was never seen again, despite them finding his glasses and teasing a return at some point.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. That frustrated me.
Benny in The Heights. No, he's good in this movie, but I don't know. I didn't feel like his character was
Necessary.
I don't want to be that mean, but necessary. Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed watching him because he played
he's great.
Part really well. But yeah, I see what you mean.
Just
I
don't know.
I think it's weird, especially for a musical, to have two parallel love stories happening at the same time.
Yeah.
That are at times I got confused. I was like, wait, I thought that was happening with the other people, where like it felt like the similar like drama within.
It is kind of the same thing too. That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and also like with him and what's her name? Nina.
Yeah.
Nina's like, oh, I need to leave home to like figure out who I am and like come back or whatever. But then Anthony Ramos, he's like, nah, like I got to stay right here. Just like, wait, what? What's the message here? What? I guess just do what you got to do. But I felt like it'd be more effective if you stuck with one of those messages and kind of hammered it home. I don't know.
Leave home, but come back.
Yeah, but come back. And you just stay. Just stay right here. And that reminded me of like fucking Orange County, when he's like, oh, it's right here. Yeah. Oh, geez.
Find your own way in life, but also don't.
Yeah, but
it is a bit of a mixed message.
Yeah, I like the story of, especially like a woman who's trying to carry her culture with her. I like the story of a woman leaving and coming home to kind of like, whatever craft it is or whatever, I just perfected it. I'm going to come home and kind of flourish. I like that. One of my favorite Chef's Table episodes, there's a woman who leaves and moves back to Georgia where she was from.
Oh yeah.
And she just starts just dominating, and is like just totally figured out, oh, like the thing I love most is actually my roots and the things that I grew up with. I'm going to go back and just kind of handle that. I love that storyline, but it was the secondary storyline in this movie. And with Stanford, and again, the story at dinner time was weird. I didn't seem like it added up altogether, but I normally love that kind of trope, that kind of storytelling.
Yeah. I feel like this could be two different movies.
Probably.
Side note, Corey Hawkins was in a movie I watched for one of the past episodes of Sneak Preview, Georgetown, with Christoph Waltz and Vanessa Redgrave.
Oh, that's right. Christoph Waltz's debut.
Yeah. Not a great movie.
But
Hawkins played Waltz's lawyer, who was very much like, you are so full of shit and there's no way I can defend you if you're not honest with me. And he's just like, what? I am a general in the Iraqi army. What are you talking about? Like, he had to deal with this con man who's so clearly manipulating everybody, and he sees through it immediately. And he's like, this is ridiculous. I'm your attorney. Help me help you. Like, he just gets so frustrated. It's hilarious. It's one of the best parts of the movie.
That's fantastic. And Straight Outta Compton.
Oh, Trey? Fuck
yeah. That's his best work, and I couldn't help but think about like this Benny character would get his ass kicked by Dr. Dre. this Benny guy.
Oh, God.
Man, like it's polar opposite of what I've seen Corey Hawkins do. Like in that movie, just which is good for him. I didn't know he could sing like that.
Me neither.
That's what I thought about Jimmy Smits.
Dude, Jimmy Smits, Christ Almighty.
We're gonna get to him. I love Jimmy Smits. We're gonna get to him. Leslie Grace plays Nina Rosario, a Stanford dropout who was uncertain about her future. She's a successful Latina pop artist, and this is her first film.
Okay.
Nice.
She's had a few albums, and she's breaking into movies.
Yeah, I see that. She just has 7 acting credits, and a lot of them are just video shorts. So, well, they all are. Yeah, except for Nina Rosario.
Good for her.
Mm-hmm. Her decision to be like to finally, when she makes her decision to be a lawyer for Dreamers, that doesn't really go anywhere. I was hoping for some kind of like she was going to be Sonny's, lawyer or something like, 10 years later or something. But no, she kind of spends like way too long uncertain. I don't know if that's just me. I'm a fairly certain person, but I was like, make up your mind. In or out. Come on. We got 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're, the pacing of the romance just made very little sense to me with the two. Again, I do not think it's either of their fault.
No.
The performers. This just yesterday, what we talked about with the Defiant Ones. Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis are doing their job just fine. There's just a few times with the screenplay where it just doesn't totally add up, and I felt like that happened with them too. They just didn't have the best stuff to work with, especially compared to Anthony Ramos.
Well, like, at the beginning, you kind of think that like Vanessa doesn't really know Usnavi and he's like pining for her, but then they've known each other for years and she's been in love with him. Like it kind of bounces around a lot of tropes and doesn't commit to any one of them. And I'm not really sure what to think about this relationship. Like, I don't know. I mean, the big old red flags on the first date should have been like, this isn't going to work.
Yeah. Probably isn't good to continue this. Yeah.
Olga Merediz plays Abuela Claudia, the kind-hearted woman who everyone in the neighborhood looks up to. Merediz originated the role of Claudia on Broadway and was nominated for a Tony. So she started this one. She's also had bit parts in such films as K-Pax, Music of the Heart, Mr. Popper's Penguins, The Place Beyond the Pines, and Requiem for a Dream. So she's had some interesting acting credits, but it is cool that she was the original Broadway star and she is in the movie.
Yeah, man. She was great. She was really, and her kind of moment, where when she's passing, that reminded me of 1979 and all that jazz. I Think I'm Gonna Die. I was like, this is really cool. That was a really cool way to kind of send her off. That was fascinating.
Yeah, that was a great depiction of, that moment of death where your life flashes before your eyes. Like that's what it was. It was a really smart way to do that.
So cool.
Oh, made my grandma burst into tears straight up.
I'm sure. Yeah. And Olga was just kind of killing it the whole movie anyway. So when you have that kind of build up, yeah. Oh boy.
You think potential best supporting actress next year?
I think Anthony Ramos and her, that's all I would look at. And then of course some technical stuff because Jesus.
Yeah. I think this thing, has a shot at production design, cinematography.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think anything having to do with sound, film editing, all that stuff could be, they could be looking at like 8 or 9 nominations.
Sweet. Jimmy Smits plays Kevin Rosario, owner of the Car Dispatch and Nina's proud father. Smits is one of the most respected and versatile Latin actors working today. He played Senator Bail Organa in the Star Wars prequels and is perhaps most famous for his role as Detective Bobby Simone on NYPD Blue. He also played Nero Padilla on Sons of Anarchy and Assistant DA Miguel Prado on Dexter. This dude is a boss. I love Jimmy Smits. And Yeah, he's great in this. He's I think underused.
Yeah, I do think he's the guy I like the most for sure in the movie. And I would say give him an Oscar nomination as well. But I'm with you. I think he's a bit underused, and that kind of killed me because he has a way of kind of embodying like drug dealer, dad, like all these different things that like any just adult male could be. He kind of has it all, and he all he has to do is wear like an Oxford shirt and like slacks. And I'm like, this guy could be fucking Don Eladio, or he could be just as car salesman. It's really amazing.
Did y'all ever see his bit in Dexter?
I might have. I was trying to
It's
figure
been a
out where
while.
I've seen his face before, and that might be where it is.
You've seen The Get Down, right?
No.
You haven't seen The Get Down? He's in that. He's really good in that. Him and Giancarlo Esposito just shatter everybody else out of the building in that one. I mean, there's so many. I mean, just in 1987, there's like four acting credits. Yeah, he's just kind of doing stuff nonstop since the 80s.
I knew him in Star Wars, but I really paid attention to him with Dexter. He's the villain of season 3, but you don't know he's the villain until like the last few episodes because he's the good guy who becomes the bad guy. And it was really smart. He's the assistant DA. Dexter accidentally kills his brother secretly and like starts a whole thing. He and Dexter become friends. He finds out who Dexter is and is like, I accept you as a brother. Teach me how to do it. And Dexter's like, I've never had a friend who knows that I kill. Let's do this together. But then Miguel goes a little nuts with it, starts killing off Book and challenges Dexter. It's a whole great cat and mouse thing. And the ending is so fucking perfect. It was the first season of Dexter I ever saw. So he's always kind of stuck in my head because of that.
God, dude, his Emmy nominations are just insane.
He's been a just mainstay of cop procedurals since the 80s.
Well, yeah, it's all LA Law, NYPD Blue, just bang, bang, bang. And then Dexter.
Was he nominated for Dexter?
Yeah, 2009. Yeah.
Good for him. That's great.
Yeah. Outstanding guest actor in a drama series for playing Miguel Prado for episode Go Your Own Way.
Miguel Prado.
Yeah.
And that season also delved into like Cuban heritage and like what, him being a Cuban, like very powerful Cuban figure in this neighborhood and how like everyone kind of looked up to him, and Dexter knowing that he's a psychopath, like really having to kind of balance that was so smart. God, I miss when that show was good. I really hope this new season works out. In the Heights has an IMDb score of 7.9, Rotten Tomatoes score of 96%. Grossed only about 11 million on a budget of 55 million so far. 55 million seems low for what they were able to do.
No. Impressive.
Yeah. It'll be available to stream on HBO Max for the next month. You can also see it at your local theater, which we strongly encourage if you are vaccinated. This film needs some money. I want this to work so we can see that Hamilton movie.
Yeah. Do you think that they expected this with the I mean, it was so heavily marketed as a HBO Max, do you think they expected this?
Well, remember, originally it wasn't supposed to be. This was supposed to be a huge summer blockbuster last year. So I think that they are, I think they're fairly disappointed. But they got to work with what they can get. I think they had to have expected it. I mean, we all know what's going on right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, Quiet Place 2 did just break 100 million domestic, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So we're on our way back, but we're not quite there.
Horror movie fans are more chomping at the bit than anybody. That's for sure.
Damn straight. I mean, if I'm, only able to see one movie, I'm not going to go see the 2.5 hour musical. I'm going to go see the horror movie.
Straight up. 100%.
So let's highlight some stuff about In the Heights. Well, musical numbers were quite spectacular.
What's your favorite one?
Probably 96,000. I thought that was very well choreographed, very entertaining. I liked, I can relate to that. We've all thought about, what if I won the lottery? And I do like the payoff we get of that later on was really good.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite?
It's between that one and I don't know the name of the number.
Yeah, I don't know the names of all of them.
But the one where she's about to the Bronx, like the lady who owns the salon, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I love.
I think When the Sun Goes Down. No, wait.
No, that's Corey Hawkins and what's her name when they're like, that was kind of dope when they were dancing on the building.
Maybe Finale, or I don't know.
Blackout. I think it's Blackout. Maybe.
Isn't Blackout the big one in the alleyway? Or
Carnaval del Barrio. That's it.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what you're. Yes. That's the big one.
It's stuck between 96,000.
Okay, Daphne Rubin Vega. She is fucking lights out in this as well. And I've seen her in a ton of shit. Same way with Jim Smiths. I've seen them just all over the place. Yeah, that part is just cool. Just really cool. That's when you get, I think, the most kind of
representation.
Yeah, most representation. Culture, yeah. I like that part a lot. I what is the name of the song? The abuela, the grandmother.
Go down. It's the right up under right here.
Paciencia y fe.
Okay, patience and faith. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, cool, man. That was pretty spectacular. But see, then like Champagne, I didn't like it.
I didn't like Champagne.
I was either. Like completely.
Yeah, that was weak.
Done without Champagne.
That's the one where I was saying I couldn't stand when she's like, "How do I repay you?"
That's what I was. Okay,
that was am I watching Beauty and the Beast right now?
I felt like, I feel like it happened with her character a lot, where it kind of just felt like she was like it started off the musical numbers with kind of like it could have been cut or it didn't need to be used, and I feel like that's what a lot of people who don't like musicals are like. Oh, I don't like musicals because of this, because they just randomly start breaking out in song and it doesn't make any sense until the actual number happens.
That musical number felt like a nod to The Apartment.
Yeah.
But unearned.
Yes, but like without even saying it or admitting it. Yeah. That's funny. Totally unchecked.
It's got some great musical numbers though. In the Heights would be my third. I know that's like the opening scene, but
pretty
like
dope.
Yeah.
It's funny how Lin-Manuel Miranda, like the character he plays, he's just like the typical neighborhood guy, you know, who's just like hanging out.
Did you guys catch the post-credit scene?
Yeah, okay. It was really cool. The volume was turned down and I was like, what the shit is this? Yeah. So we didn't get to see the whole thing, but I had turned it down and I definitely noticed that he had like a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, what exactly happened?
The guy, his character who was selling like shaved ice, the ice cream truck either broke down or he broke it down. I didn't catch that part, but the ice cream truck broke down and he started selling all his treats, and then he gives one to the ice cream truck guy like a truce.
Okay. The guy who was banging on
but the guy's eyeing him like, I know you had something to do with this.
Yeah.
So yeah,
of course.
It was cool seeing him, you know, in the background as kind of like a witness to all this. I thought it was a good role for him.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I'm
pretty sure he will be. I mean, look at all just.
Oh, Lin-Manuel. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. For score, best song. Yeah. Yeah.
That's where but it's best original song.
Yeah. But yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Where musicals, like at stage musicals, kind of falter in those categories because it's all adapted. But usually they'll throw like one new one in, but I don't think this film did.
No, I don't think it did. No.
Outside the musical numbers, are there any like moments that you want to kind of spotlight?
I thought the young boy was interesting.
Sunny?
I thought, like Connor mentioned, or you mentioned earlier, how you thought maybe that we were going to get some payoff with Nina and him.
Yeah.
But we didn't really. I just thought he was interesting. I thought he did a good job of kind of representing like how teenagers are, and just kind of how they talk, how they treat things, and how now you can talk to like 16, 17-year-olds and it feels like they have way more knowledge than 16, 17-year-olds did back 20 years ago or whatever, because they have phones and are reading and constantly can be growing and learning. And I feel like this kid was kind of the good side of that, like the good part of that. A kid who's curious, a kid who wants to learn, like wants to do things. He's like, this is my spot. I want to like help this part of the world. I like that.
I wish we got more of his storyline though, because they hint towards like a thing that's happening in his life that they never like really
like a home thing.
It. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, how weird was it that his dad was Mark Anthony?
So bizarre, dude. When I saw Mark Anthony on the couch holding a beer, I was like, whoa, what?
And then to have him in the movie and not sing was so weird.
Like, what's the point?
No, I don't understand it either, but I did read somewhere that Anthony Ramos was almost like taking it back because he had that scene with him and he was like, oh, he's bringing it and I need to as well. And like seeing him in that short scene, I guess, made him want to like step it up a little bit and like go for it, which I thought was pretty cool because you could tell like in the interview, he seemed like he was a little starstruck. He's
been a very famous Latino man for a long time.
But I always like hearing like people who are also kind of like in the spotlight or just stepping into it, having like a fan moment.
Oh yeah,
like that.
Those are always cool.
Imagine Anthony Ramos when he met Lady Gaga doing A Star Is Born. Just like, what the fuck? You're huge. You're a massive like icon. That's got it. Yeah, it's just, no matter who you are, that that like hits you.
Yeah.
Straight up. It did. I like that this film showed how difficult it is to emigrate here. Like the process of how, could take up to 5 years and you could still be denied.
Yeah.
Like how little that the courts give a shit about their timetable or what they need.
Yeah.
It's really upsetting. I have a lot of, I have immigrants in my family and I don't like that they had to go through that shit. It's unfortunate.
No, and touching on what you said about people nowadays having like phones and stuff, you get to see a lot of people process this like in real time and like tell their story about how long it takes. And I mean, there's people who are now witnessing their parents become like legal citizens and the emotion behind that when their parents are like finally like they have like their papers and whatnot. And it's cool that this movie is touching on that and maybe it opens people's eyes a little bit to that process and the struggle that holds. But I think it's great that it actually did talk about it a little bit. I just wish they would have dove into it a little deeper.
I think the solution to that, I would have made Sonny the main character. I would have had this be through his eyes as a dreamer, as a kid who grew up here but isn't considered a citizen and being torn between two different lives.
Yeah.
Because through Usnavi, this is really just a love story. And we've seen that a million times in the musicals. Through Sonny, you get an entirely different perspective and you still get to celebrate this, the cultural heritage and the environment of this neighborhood.
I feel like that would have helped it a little bit more. And then maybe we've also seen Nina's character actually put her knowledge to use in that situation. That would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And, the finale could have seen him getting citizenship or something. Yeah.
I did appreciate the ending and how you thought one thing was kind of happening and it ended up being something different, despite, the back and forth that he definitely had with like leaving and all that stuff. I think that was really nice. I liked it. At least that part.
Yeah. Yeah.
True, but what happened to his investment?
That too.
Yeah.
What happened to his like decision to buy his father's bar?
And this whole movie, we're led to believe that like this is like his this is his destiny. Yes, okay. And not in like the cool twist way where it's like, oh, this movie's dark and oh fuck, it just got darker. Yeah. No, this movie's optimistic, and the whole time that's obviously his daughter. obviously he's speaking to, and you think they're on the beach in Dominican Republic or whatever, or wherever it is, and you're like, oh, this is cool, that's dope.
I can see
he
what they were
eventually
trying
gets
to
there.
do. Yeah.
But then, and fair enough if that's where you want to go with it. But I'm quite frustrated with the ending because it's like, what? Like, so this girl who is like wishy-washy as fuck with you does this mural on the wall that she didn't even paint. It was some guy that she just met, and you're gonna stay home because of that. You clearly, and Connor, you're a certain person. You clearly aren't certain about what you want. Clearly. And that was like, what? What's the message? What the fuck is the message here?
I feel like what I took away from it is I could see how much Washington Heights has impacted his life.
Correct.
And I liked the fact that he realized that there is a home there for him, and he stayed, and he's raising his kids in the environment he did. But yes, it would have been very cool
for
to see
her,
him
though,
actually buy his
That love story was not earned. It does not deserve that sort of fairy tale ending.
I feel like there were so many missing puzzle pieces in their romance. So like, I'm not saying that I love their story. Like I just like the fact that you did see that maybe he did feel like a closeness to it. Maybe it was his abuela, and the fact that that's like her resting place and that's the last place he had. I don't know. But
it just seemed
aspect,
seemed like he was choosing to stay with Vanessa and not his destiny. And that did not sit well with me, because the whole movie was about like chasing your dreams, not someone else's, yours.
I feel like we get that a lot in movies too, like where like it's a love story and this person definitely has like a goal that they have in mind, but then they kind of give it up for the love interest kind of thing. And since the whole movie,
like, doesn't she want to leave this neighborhood?
I thought so.
Yeah. The whole time she's trying to find like an out or whatever. Like, I need my ticket out. It's like, man, what? You guys are like a couple of 15-year-olds that don't know what's what.
Now hearing y'all's point of view, I'm also wondering, like, wasn't her whole like deal to like get out and like be like a fashion designer? And what is she doing now though? Like that. Like what? Like her clothes just being sold in his bodega? That's it?
Yeah, they're just saying, hey, it's fine to just do, quote unquote, our dream right here. It's like, all right, fine, I guess. I guess.
I've been to New York City. I've never walked into a convenience store and thought those are some beautiful dresses.
Never.
No. Neither have
I feel like nobody wins here.
Yes, when you really sit down and it's like, what was the point of the 2 hour and 22 minutes?
And then I don't know. That's always my issue with this genre. It's like, what exactly are we doing here?
And again, this is New York City. There's no way he's getting his apartment back.
No,
it's gone.
That's gone. I think, she can design dresses in Dominican Republic. Like I was expecting her to make like an impulsive decision to like leave with him.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've read so many things on, like just kind of skimmed through stuff on the internet and seen like on Letterboxd, where people who do have a relationship with the play, they're just like, they left out the essential things that allow the conversation to go there.
Yeah.
To really put your foot into the conversation and really be there. And I guess the movie had to make those decisions. And even then it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I don't know.
I wonder what else they must have cut out, because it's already a pretty long movie, in my opinion. So what didn't make the cut? And if what was cut out, would it have benefited the storyline a little better?
Probably more stuff about their relationship, which we clearly needed to understand.
Like there was
how are you guys so in love where you would just stay at the drop of a hat?
When I hear that stuff was cut, I always think like, I always look back on the film and think like, you kept that, but you cut crucial character development. Like the scene in the salon where they're all kind of just having like a song. Do we need that song?
I feel like out of all the scenes, that one might have been the most pointless.
It was kind of fun though.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was just fun. But at the cost of character development, I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah, I agree. Yes. While this movie is just breathtaking, it's gorgeous. and it is totally worth your time watching as just a like sweeping piece of entertainment.
Yeah.
That'll just kind of knock you on your ass with its colors, with its, you point out, Brianna, the choreography. It will blow you away.
Mm-hmm.
But when
you sit down and actually think.
Yeah, and this is why we do this show, and like we just finished watching it, you do have to kind of properly get through your thoughts to figure out, okay, what exactly was happening there. In the screenplay, to me, this woman, this is essentially her first movie screenplay. And I think you can tell that there's just not a lot of like in the decision making, she didn't know exactly where to go.
Yeah.
And that's gonna fucking happen when you're writing. This is a big movie to have your first screenplay.
Yeah.
But I think that musicals inherently don't put a lot of value in the screenplay.
That's the whole adaptation part of it. Yeah.
Most musicals are about the pageantry and about, the songs. That story is very much in the back seat. I mean, we see that with a lot of films we talk, like, Hello, Dolly comes to mind. Mm-hmm. That movie has a very weird, hard to follow story.
Yeah.
But the songs are great and the performances are fun. So you don't care.
Isn't it nice to get a Sweeney Todd every once in a while?
Yeah, Sweeney Todd, a whole shop of horrors.
Yeah.
Is there like a musical in y'all's opinion that does all of it well, like the choreography, the music, the storyline, and not be choppy and still be able to blend all of those elements together?
Yeah, Sweeney Todd. I think Sweeney Todd does everything. I think it totally understands what it is, because at times it is kind of over the top and silly, and embraces the pageantry part of it, but it's also so committed to being dark and to being creepy, and then having Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter, they're both awesome, and Alan Rickman and Timothy Spall. It has a lot to do with how well you choose your cast, and but I think it's probably my like favorite, as far as, I mean, I love all that jazz, but I think Sweeney Todd, like you said, kind of crosses all the boxes off.
Do you own Sweeney?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I want to watch that tonight. We're talking about it way too much. And I'm like, it's
pretty late, but I'm always down. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Sweeney Todd. My all-time favorite musical will always be Little Shop of Horrors. That movie is so much fun. Really, I think accomplishes all those. But one I would like to shout out is Rocket Man. I think that movie, checks all the boxes. I think that doesn't sacrifice story. The performances are great. The choreography is fantastic. The songs are Elton John, so it's going to be great. And I think that movie earns it.
I'm definitely with all that you just said, because I haven't seen it and I was curious about it, but I like a good musical that also can keep up with everything else going on as well.
Yeah.
I'm looking here. Like, I really, really like stuff like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, that just kind of flips it on its ass and is using aspects of musical, but is like totally denying the common tropes of it. I don't know, man. I mean, like La La Land has just kind of gotten more and more dull to me as time has gone on. One of the recent ones, I like Sing Street a lot. That's a cool one. That's another kind of unique musical that's more recent.
I have a soft spot for Chicago.
2002. I like Chicago. Yeah.
I think the film adaptation was really good. I think that's a good story. I know it's got a lot of flack, but I really enjoy The Greatest Showman.
I did too.
You like that one, yeah.
Yeah, Austin likes to make fun of me for that one, but I will put it on in a heartbeat if I feel the need to watch a musical. It's probably going to be that one.
My only beef with that movie is that P.T. Barnum was an asshole in real life. But apart from that, like, if you can ignore that, that's a very fun movie.
Dreamgirls is pretty cool. My list is short of musicals that I like, and usually I like ones that again are kind of like unconventional. And
my favorite are mostly Disney movies, honestly.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I would like to get back into musicals. I feel like I kind of drifted from it once I graduated high school, and I was no longer like in choir and watching it as like a thing. But I thoroughly enjoyed it when I did, and I feel like I need to just start diving in.
Yeah. Well, since I tend to enjoy most musicals, I could probably compile a small list for you if you want.
I'm down.
In the Heights. Good. I give it an 8. It's a delightful musical, celebrates Latin heritage and culture, as well as the power of community. I liked it. I don't know if I'd watch it again, but I liked it.
That's fair. What do you think?
I'm gonna give it a 7.
Nice, easy 7. Same here.
Okay.
I think I could even go lower if I think about it too hard.
Shit.
Connor, I haven't been watching nearly as many 2021 releases as you, but sure. I've been quite harsh on the ones I have seen this year. Like Cherry comes to mind. What's that one with Denzel and Jared Leto? The Little Things. There's a few others, but it's just been even that one we were on together, United States vs. Billie Holiday. I didn't really like that movie either.
Yeah,
I thought Moxie was pretty decent, and there's been some others, but man, I don't want to be disappointed all summer, and I think In the Heights, because of that constant commercial, no matter what I'm watching, and it says 98, 99% Rotten Tomatoes, and like constant, your expectations go to a certain place, and I felt like the story was flat, fell flat a few times, and while it was big and bright and outstandingly almost overwhelming at times, like the 96,000 scene, that whole bit was great. The space between the notes was not totally there for me, so got to go 7. I don't think I could go any higher just from that story stuff alone.
I'll go with you on that. This has not been the strongest year for film so far. I think a lot of stuff has been severely disappointing.
Like Infinite.
Yeah. However, there have been some gems. Like, have you gotten a chance to check out Raya and the Last Dragon yet?
I have.
She has. I have not.
What do you think? It was great. Yeah.
I thought they did a great job. If I wasn't so stuck in my ways of not paying $30 for a Disney release, now that I've seen it, I'm like, I should have just paid $30. It was worth it.
It could be the greatest movie of all time. It could be Back to the Future 4 that was like made in 1991 and lost for years. I'm not paying $30 for it.
I just
to watch at home. Yeah.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Watch it at home. You probably would be able to watch it cheaper if you just went to the theater.
Yeah,
for sure. But I honestly, I had moderate expectations, and I like when I'm impressed.
Well, doing this show, kind of forcing myself to see as much as I can just to talk about it here, I feel like it's going to make a very interesting top 10 of 2021 when we do that in January, because I'm going to have a lot to draw from. So I think it's worth it. Watching this shit, watching the great stuff. I don't know what it's going to be till it's on. And it's all part of the mystery.
Yeah, that's exactly how you find stuff. And you're so spot on. Now in January of 2022, you will have a really cool list to choose from. Whereas I'll have like 30.
But will In the Heights be there? No, it won't. But it was good.
Yeah. No, there's no way, right? There's no way it cracks the top 10.
Looking back on what I've seen this year, maybe 2 so far. So hopefully the second half of the year is better.
Usually is, right? Usually.
Yeah.
So
once we get to award season, I think things are going to pick up a little.
Yeah.
I've noticed that the older I get, the more I'm into that stuff, not so much the blockbusters.
Yeah, that's where I've been for a while now, man. Welcome.
Speaking of, thanks for listening, everyone. This was fun. Next week, we get 2 films that couldn't be further apart. On Disney Plus, we get the new Pixar film Luca. And in theaters, we get the action comedy sequel, The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. I have not seen The Hitman's Bodyguard. We'll try to watch it before, so I have some context. Tune in next week to hear us discuss those 2 films. Don't miss Videodrome on Wednesday's Filmgazm and a Best Picture showdown on From Here to Eternity on Oscar Sunday. Have a great week, celebrate your cultural heritage, and keep watching movies.